The Devil's Three Golden Hairs. Gather round, dear listeners, and prepare to hear a tale spun from the threads of fate, greed, and the ultimate triumph of good. It's a story as old as time, yet ever fresh in its lessons. Our story begins with a prophecy, a pronouncement that a boy born with a caul would one day marry a princess. Such news, you might think, would bring joy. But in the heart of a king, it sowed only fear. Consumed by the desire to defy destiny, the king resolved to extinguish the boy's life, believing he could outwit the very stars themselves. Little did he know, fate has a way of playing its hand. The king, in his cruel decree, ordered the innocent babe to be put to death. He saw not a child, but a threat to his power, a challenge to his reign. His first attempt was swift and heartless. The king had the baby placed in a wooden box and cast adrift upon the river's mercy, hoping the currents would carry him to his doom. But fate, it seems, had other plans. The box, instead of sinking, floated gently downstream until it reached the banks where a miller lived. The miller, a kind and simple man, along with his wife, discovered the child. They took him in, raising him as their own, unaware of the royal blood that did not run in his veins, but of the destiny that clung to him like a second skin. Years passed, 16 summers bloomed and faded, and the king, by chance, encountered the boy again. He recognized the mark of fate upon him, the caul that still clung to his destiny. Undeterred, the king devised another scheme. He sent the boy on a journey with a sealed letter, a missive that commanded the boy's execution upon arrival. But fate intervened once more, this time in the guise of robbers. They waylaid the boy, discovered the letter, and, with a mischievous twist, replaced it with one ordering the boy's immediate marriage to the princess. And so it came to pass, against all odds, that the boy married the princess. The prophecy was fulfilled, much to the king's utter dismay and fury. The king, enraged that fate had mocked him, devised a task so perilous, so seemingly impossible, that it would surely lead to the boy's demise. He demanded that the boy travel to the depths of the underworld and retrieve 3 golden hairs from the devil himself, a task that would make the bravest of hearts tremble. The boy, though understandably daunted, accepted the challenge with a courage born not of recklessness, but of a quiet acceptance of his destiny. And so, with a heavy heart but unwavering resolve, the boy set out on his perilous quest to the devil's domain. His journey was long and fraught with peril. Along the way, he encountered a city whose well had ceased to flow with wine, leaving its people parched and despairing. He came upon another city where a once fruitful tree now stood barren, its branches bare, its people hungry. Further on, he met a ferryman, doomed to endlessly ply his trade across a river, unable to find release from his duty. The boy, with a kind heart, promised each of them that he would seek answers to their woes when he reached the devil, vowing to return with solutions. After many trials, the boy finally reached the entrance to the devil's domain, a place of fire and brimstone, of shadows and despair. There, he encountered the devil's grandmother, a surprisingly helpful and cunning creature. She took pity on the boy, recognizing the impossible task he faced. To protect him from her grandson's wrath, she transformed the boy into an ant, small and insignificant, easily overlooked. She hid him within the folds of her skirt, shielding him from the devil's all-seeing gaze, preparing him for the secrets he was about to uncover. As the boy hid, the devil returned home, his presence filling the air with a palpable sense of dread. He immediately sensed a human presence, his nostrils flaring. But the grandmother, quick-witted and cunning, managed to distract her grandson, diverting his attention with tales and flattery. The devil, momentarily appeased, revealed the source of the city's woes, a toad hidden in a crack at the bottom of the well, poisoning the water. He then spoke of the barren tree, revealing that a mouse was gnawing at its roots, preventing it from bearing fruit. Finally, he spoke of the ferryman, explaining that he could only be freed from his duty when he passed his oar to another. While the devil slept, the grandmother, with surprising strength, plucked 3 golden hairs from his head. Each pluck caused the devil to stir and groan, but she persevered. With each hair, the boy overheard the solutions to the problems he had encountered on his journey, the answers he had promised to deliver. Once the task was complete, the grandmother transformed the boy back into his human form, no longer an ant, but a brave soul who had faced the devil himself. The boy, filled with gratitude, thanked the grandmother for her kindness and her help, promising to never forget her generosity. The boy, true to his word, returned to the ferryman and told him how to be free from his endless duty. Simply pass the oar to the next person who wished to cross. He then journeyed to the city with the barren tree and told the guards about the mouse gnawing at its roots. They found the mouse, removed it, and the tree once again bore fruit. Finally, he reached the city with the poisoned well and told the guards about the toad hidden at the bottom. They removed the toad, and the well once again flowed with wine. In gratitude, the cities showered the boy with gold, rewarding him for his kindness and his willingness to help those in need. The boy, laden with gold and carrying the devil's 3 golden hairs, returned home to the princess, his task complete. But the king, upon seeing the gold, was consumed by greed. He cared not for the boy's bravery or the princess's happiness, only for the riches he possessed. He demanded to know where the boy had obtained such wealth. His eyes gleaming with avarice, the boy, unsuspecting of the king's true intentions, told him the tale of his journey. The king, blinded by greed, decided to follow in the boy's footsteps. Hoping to acquire even more gold, he sought out the ferryman, eager to cross the river to the devil's domain. And so, he was tricked into becoming the new ferryman, forever bound to the endless task he so readily sought. And so, the boy and the princess lived happily ever after, their lives filled with joy and prosperity, their love a beacon of hope in a world often darkened by greed. The king, however, was punished for his avarice, forever trapped in the endless cycle of ferrying souls across the river, a constant reminder of his wicked deeds. This tale teaches us many things: the power of destiny, the importance of helping others, and the destructive nature of greed. Let it be a reminder that kindness and courage will always triumph over wickedness and avarice. The kind-hearted will prosper, while the wicked will ultimately face their downfall.